It's time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement brought to you by Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Now here's your host, President of Compassion for Kids, Tony Giorgio, with today's message of perseverance.
Welcome to Living with Victory. I'm your host, Tony Giorgio, with my co-host, Laureen, proving life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And it is called perseverance and faith, above all, in Jesus Christ. And hey, just a reminder, if you want to contact us, you can email us your comments or prayer requests to livingwithvictory@gmail.com. That was livingwithvictory@gmail.com. Later on in the program, before we go off the air, have a paper and pencil ready, and I will give you additional information on how to reach us. And right now, I'd like to mention one of our partners, the Journey Christian newspaper, which is found around town and online. It's a free monthly print that you can pick up, and it offers Christian perspective news, Christian events, and encouraging articles. You can visit them at www.journeychristiannews.com. And the Journey Christian newspaper encourages Christians on their walk with life, like we do. And look for our ad on that website, okay? And now, without wasting any more time, I want to say hi to my co-host, Laureen, and she will have the word of the day. Hi, Laureen.
Hi, hon. It's so good to be here today. I'm glad you have decided to join us. Our topic today is, what is your most precious possession? Luke 12:16 through 20. Jesus told them a parable, saying, the land of a rich man was fertile and yielded plentifully. He considered and debated within himself, what shall I do? I have no place in which to gather together my harvest. He said, I will do this. I will put down my storehouses and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grain or produce and my goods. I will say to my soul, soul, you have many good things laid up, enough for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and enjoy yourself merrily. But God said to him, you fool, this very night the messengers of God will demand your soul of you, and all the things that you have prepared. Whose will they be? This topic came from a movie, believe it or not, that we had watched the other night, and really made us think. Because sometimes we get on such a treadmill that we just keep going and accumulating things and thinking that we paying the bills and working and making our homes beautiful, which there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we have to watch that we're not putting those things above our souls and God. Do we really think of our souls as much as we think of what we're going to buy next?
The movie was a real spoof, really funny, but the ending was really profound, and that's what really got us, not so much as the movie itself. About these two guys in a nursing home. They were both mentally challenged, supposedly. One thought he was Elvis, the other one thought he was President John F. Kennedy, but somebody had dyed him black. Ozzie Davis. I don't remember the other actor. Do you?
Actually, watching this movie from the very beginning, we didn't quite get it, and we were very surprised by the ending, so bear with us.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, and there obviously was a mummy loose in the nursing home trying to suck out people's souls so he could live. And these two guys really didn't want this mummy challenging the people in there because they couldn't fight for themselves. But of course, a fellow representing Elvis Presley and the other one, John F. Kennedy, I mean, these are the pillars of the society here at the time.
And you have to understand that these were much older men. So John F. Kennedy was in a wheelchair.
Yes, and Elvis was walking around with a walker. And yet they were determined to fight the mummy. They did not want him to be sucking their souls out and losing their souls. The story started to unfold where the principal point was they were going to fight for their very souls.
Exactly.
Not their possessions, but what they were looking at was the fact that if that mummy took their soul, they'd have nothing and nowhere, and if they died, they would end up in a black hole. They would be nowhere. They'd never get to heaven. They didn't have a soul. So the movie went absolutely crazy. There's no doubt about it.
They were determined in figuring out a way how to kill this mummy to save their souls. They were going to try to put him on fire, which didn't work right away because while they were sitting there waiting, John F. Kennedy fell asleep in his wheelchair, and Elvis was in the back trying to wake him up, hiding behind a tree.
Oh, yeah, you had to be there, really. Here's the thing, do we think of our souls enough? We're thinking of storing up our retirement, our material possessions, everything around us, and then we go to church on Sunday, and that's the soul-keeping part of it. And then Monday comes, we go to work, and we start the cycle all over again. But do we realize that the devil is there every single day trying to erode your faith and grab your soul to take it with him? So are we really thinking in those terms? Sometimes we lose sight of it. It's sort of like, yeah, it's there, and I read the Bible, and I go to church, and okay, and then I've got to do my thing now and go to work, make my money. But are we thinking of what really would happen if you lost your soul? And these two guys, the more they saw this mummy, the more they thought about the emptiness there would be if they lost their souls.
Well, actually, when you think about it, when it comes right down to it, what really do we have that is of any value to us? When the time comes and it's our turn, what do we have? What are we facing? If we do lose our souls, really, what do we have? Everything that you've accumulated over the years, it's not coming with you. You're going alone, stripped of everything.
Right.
And hopefully your soul is right.
We get so busy, I guess, trying to keep up with everything. It's easy to forget what is truly important. And that's why the scripture in the beginning here deals with this rich man, and he's so concerned about leaving all this stuff behind, and he's got to protect it and keep it to, so it's safe and all. And like Jesus said to him, you fool, your soul's going to be asked for this night. I'm paraphrasing, but hey, he's not going to be around. His soul is going to be taken from him. And he's worried about the food and storing this and that. We start moving away from the things that we know are eternally important because we take them for granted. I think that's the problem. We sort of, we're going to church, we do good things, and we feel that, well, that's in place and I'm okay. Let's move on to what I have here. But here is a temporary setting. And these two men realized that. And no matter what they had, it really didn't matter. What they started to worry about is my soul going to be safe? And the way they did it, with the mummy as the evil one coming after their souls, I mean, it was a preposterous spoof, you might say, but the point of it all was really good, the way they did it.
But one thing I did want to go back to before Tony continues with the story is the scripture. Because this man, God had blessed him with a lot. I mean, he just blessed him with all kinds of food, and that he was able to build larger storehouses. But he didn't think that this food should have been shared maybe with someone else who didn't have. He was going to keep it all for himself so that he could make merry and be happy. He didn't worry about anybody else.
He wanted to make sure he had what he had. And I wonder, do we fight that hard to keep our souls in good standing with God? Or do we take it for granted? Everything is fine now that I'm saved. I don't have to worry about it. There's enough evidence in the Bible to say, well, you might want to make sure that you're walking the walk, so to speak, and understanding what is truly important. On this earth, this is a temporary setting. We're here. This is a gift. Life is a gift. But the real prize, the real reward is everlasting life. And the fact is that that soul is your buried treasure that you would find. So remember that, just like Elvis did in the movie there. Remember that soul, because you want God to say, well done at the end.
Oh, exactly. And as Hebrews 10:39 says, I just want to read the whole scripture. But our way is not that of those who draw back to eternal misery and are utterly destroyed, but we are of those who believe, who cleave to and trust in and rely on God through Jesus Christ the Messiah, and by faith preserve the soul.
Isn't that true? And now we're coming to the end of the road here, too. If you have that paper and pencil ready, I will give you our contact information. As I said before, you can reach us by email, livingwithvictory@gmail.com, or through our website at livingwithvictory.org. That's livingwithvictory.org. You click on Contact Us and send a message if you want. You can also click on the links there to YouTube and GodTube, or you can go to our PayPal account there, and if you want to make a donation, that's fine to do. You can hear previous programs on there. We have 15-minute snippets of all our shows. If you want to help us in any way, you're welcome to, because this ministry is supported by our listeners, just like you and our friends. You can send a donation, if you like, to Living with Victory at Post Office Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. Or, like I said, our secured PayPal account is on the home page. You can click it and just send in a donation. No gift is too small. It would be a blessing to us. Really would. I have to say that, we're trying different things now since Laureen had her diagnosis and all, and we're putting up CDs that we're going to give away free to anybody who is experiencing breast cancer, to maybe we can help them out. So we're going not to charge for these, but we could use donations to put this out. And so remember that. I've said all I can say. So till next week, Big Mouth Tony, this is Tony and Laureen saying, you keep dancing in the rain because Jesus is your umbrella. Have a great week.
We love you.
Bye.
You've been listening to Living with Victory with your host, motivational and inspirational speaker, Tony Giorgio. Support for Living with Victory comes from Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Your tax-deductible donations can be sent to Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. Tony is also available to speak to your group or organization. You can call him at 828-926-4600. Join us again next week at this time for another uplifting story of dancing in the rain.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side when